There is a question that every civilization eventually asks. Are we alone? For thousands of years, humanity looked toward the stars, believing the answer would arrive as a message. A radio signal, a passing spacecraft, a strange language waiting to be translated. We were wrong. First contact was never going to begin with words. It was going to begin with a mistake. A mistake so small that no one noticed it, at first. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the world is exactly the same as it was yesterday. Your family is still there. Your friends still laugh. Cars still fill the streets. Children still go to school. Everything feels normal. And yet, without anyone realizing it, history has already taken its first step toward extinction. Not because of war, not because of disease, not because of an invading alien fleet, but because somewhere beyond every star humanity has ever seen, another civilization made a decision. A decision born not from hatred, but from survival. They were dying. Their oceans were disappearing. Their atmosphere was collapsing. Entire cities had already been swallowed by a disaster no scientist could stop. For generations, they searched the universe for another home. Not to conquer, simply to survive. Then one day, they found us. Except they didn't know who we were. They only knew that somewhere in the darkness, another world existed. A world whose minds resonated with theirs. They believed they had found hope. They had no idea they had also awakened something far older than either civilization. Because neither world was ever truly alone. Between them, something was waiting. Something that had watched civilizations rise. Watched civilizations disappear. Something that remembered histories no living being could remember. When the first connection was attempted, it didn't create a bridge. It created a wound. A wound in reality itself. Years later, people would give those wounds a simpler name. Dungeons. Inside them were forgotten cities. Lost wars. Dead civilizations. Impossible creatures. And memories that belonged to worlds no one had ever heard of. But that comes later. Because every catastrophe begins the same way. With ordinary people living ordinary lives. A university student worried about missing class. A little girl trying to pass her examinations. A scientist refusing to ignore one impossible line of data. An old fisherman who could feel that the sea was somehow listening. None of them knew each other. None of them believed they would change history. None of them were chosen. And that is what makes this story different. This is not the story of a hero destined to save the world. It is the story of two civilizations slowly discovering that they have already become part of the same history. A history neither of them remembers. A history someone tried very hard to erase. The greatest lie ever told was that the world we see is the only one that exists. The second greatest lie was calling it a virtual world. Because somewhere beyond the edge of human understanding, someone has been waiting for us to log in. And when we finally do, neither world will ever be the same again. This is the beginning of Project Resonance. And this is the story of how two worlds accidentally started the longest war in the history of the universe.